Hello, 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 John Mason. How is everybody? My fellow Americans, this is the day where we honor the life and work of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And I agree, it's not just a day off, it's a day on. And it's the perfect day for engaging in some community service projects like a food bank or a clothing drive or donating blood, anything good for the community. But we have to remember not the sanitized saint that the news media puts out, but the radical king. The, the Dr. Martin Luther King who could criticize the Vietnam War, who hated the idea of young men going off to get killed for what? It was also engaged in what he called the Poor People's Campaign. That was the movement to challenge poverty and eliminate economic inequality for people of all races. And you have to remember, the March on Washington in 1963 was fully named the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. And the man who organized the event was A. Philip Randolph, America's leading African American trade unionist. And a part of that coalition that helped put together the march were trade unions. That's right, trade unions. Organizations of working people who are actively engaging in issues at the work site of wages and salaries and occupational safety. That's the Dr. King we have to consider and remember and bring back to our memories and research on. And this past Shabbat, I think it's rather appropriate, was the Torah portion Shemot, Exodus 1:1 to 6:1. Joseph passes away, and there came a king who knew not Joseph. You see, he had no memory of how Joseph saved the Egyptians by his storing of grain during the Great Famine. It's like the memory of Joseph was eliminated. And he said, "Let us deal shrewdly with the Israelites." Which means to me that slowly and incrementally, in bits and pieces, the Israelites became slaves to Pharaoh to build his great treasure cities. And he said that they would, in case of a war, they would rise up against us, automatically doubting their loyalty to the Egyptian nation. And Moses grows up in Pharaoh's palace after Pharaoh's daughter finds him in the weeds, and he comes upon the Egyptian taskmaster beating up a slave, and Moses kills the slave, and then he finds these two Israelites, and he tries to break it up. The woman says, "What are you gonna do? Kill me like I killed the Egyptian guy?" See, that's what oppression does to you. You think there's no way out. You think it is what it is. That's all there is, and that's all there will be. And oppressed people, instead of banding together, tear at each other. There's no hope in their minds. And Moses goes into exile, and he's a shepherd for his father-in-law, Jethro. And Moses, doing his shepherd thing, comes upon the burning bush from which the voice of God emanates. And God tells Moses God has appointed Moses to be his emissary to free the Israelites from Egyptian slavery. And Moses tries to think up every lame excuse to get out of God's commandment. Like, but Lord, I'm slow of speech. See, there's some speculation that Moses had a stammer. That's the way God works. God utilizes frail mortals like us to do his bidding. And so we frail mortals have to continue the work of freedom fighting. It's an ongoing work. Civil rights didn't end with Dr. King. It's ongoing. But we must make sure it never ends. The threats to our liberties continues to be real and dangerous. Like with this current Congress, instead of dealing serious with the tiny Republican majority, instead of taking on serious issues, they're getting into bullshit like Hunter Biden's laptop. And they're howling about the documents Biden had in his private residence. But they didn't say a peep about Trump having hundreds and over 100 documents at Mar-a-Lago. Biden's attorneys very peacefully informed the Justice Department and continued digging for them. Whereas Trump refused to get Trump's documents, they had to send the FBI to raid Mar-a-Lago. And God knows what other documents in his other properties. Could be some at Bedminster, where Ivana is buried in. Maybe he buried some in Ivana's grave. Maybe the Scottish Club Turnberry. Any of his properties. Nice little distraction from the true business at hand. I hope that God, the news media, doesn't fall for it. Because we have serious, and we'll make damn sure they don't fall for it. We're going to keep the issues of economic inequality, LGBTQ rights, the rights of workers to organize, like in Amazon and Starbucks and Home Depot. We'll continue the work of defending the right of women to have control over their bodies, including abortion. That's what's up ahead. I'm often reminded of the Brazilian bishop, Dom Helder Câmara. During the 60s and 70s, he advocated for the poor in his country and butted heads a lot with the military junta of that era. And Câmara once said, "I took care of the poor, they called me a saint. I asked, why are they poor? They called me a communist." Challenging systems of oppression does strike a nerve. That's what happened to Dr. King. I mean, if he was this harmless, a little old peacenik, like the sanitized image, why the hell was the FBI so hell-bent on bringing him down? There's the rub. So let's not be deterred by anything. As the saying goes, we'll keep our eyes on the prize. As the anthem Lift Every Voice, written by James Welton Johnson, is, we'll keep marching on. Okay, that's it for me. Now, advertisements. Hemperific is a lovely little CBD product store located on Snyder Avenue near 15th Street in South Philadelphia. There you will find some of the finest cannabis-infused products, flower and candies and teas and gummies and drinks and hand sanitizer and lip balm and dog treats. Yep, dog treats. Look them up, please. HemperificLLC.com. And now, my beloved career and business coach, Michelle Snow. Michelle is just wonderful in helping you develop your small business or professional career. Let you know what you're doing right, where you need work, and help you network with other up-and-coming professionals and entrepreneurs. Look her up, please. growwithsnow.com. Okay, that's it for now. Let us march on till we continue to fight for freedom. As the Pirkei Avot says, it is not for us to complete the work, but neither are we to desist from it. Let's march on. Thank you. Bye.